Hey guys, Richard at Reefs.com. Thank you for joining me today. Today I would like to introduce a good friend of mine. His name is Tommy and he works at Worldwide Corals. He's been working together with me at Reefapalooza shows. If you looked at some of my footages and noticed that smooth, buttery B-roll, that's from Tommy, and I learned a great deal from him. And he's just started to get into his new build of Elos, just like mine, Elos build, and I wanted to share his tank and his progress with you guys. All right, without further ado, let's dive into it. Let's go.
Hey everyone, I'm Tommy and this is my Elos or Elos 160 XL. It's a 200-gallon aquarium. I can't wait to show it to you guys, but first, a huge thank you to Richard and the folks over at Reefs.com for giving me the opportunity to share this tank with you. You may know me from Worldwide Corals. I'm on the YouTube team. I'm usually behind the camera with Victor going around and showing off tanks. So this time it's really neat to be in front of the camera to show off my tank. The dimensions are 63 inches across, 31.5 inches deep, and 24.6 inches tall. The reason they call it the 160 XL is because the length is 160 centimeters or around 63 inches. And the XL part just means it's a deeper tank, so it's the deepest one they offer in that size. Let's jump into the equipment and start with the lighting. These are the GNC Blu-ray Pros, and I really like these lights. They are an LED panel with about 600 LEDs each, which is crazy. If you like that T5 look, this is a nice even distribution of light. I decided to go with 2 of them for this tank. I've seen some people actually use 3, so I've been really happy with 2 because of the way I have the Rockscape. A little bit more about the light, there are no fans on them. It is a big, large heat sink, and these lights run really cool. So I can touch it, and it's ice cold, which is great for an LED because you guys know that they heat up quite a bunch. And I have them on the GNC light bridge, which sits on the top of the tank. Now, I did talk to Francois at Aquarium Partners, and he got me the hanging kit, which is gonna make taking the lid on and off a lot easier. I don't have the lid on right now because I was cleaning the tank, and it is a one-piece lid, so let me show you that. And it's a beautiful lid from Top Lids, keeps everything safe, but because it's a one-piece, it takes 2 people to take it on and off. And here is the evap cover, and Top Lids has etched in all of our partners that help make this tank a success. For the lighting schedule, I run these mostly blue for about 9 hours. They are about 70% intensity, and I also run the UV and reds about 20%. So the sunlight will come in and it will go through the tank for about 3 hours, and it will go from one side to the other, so it will give it that even distribution of white. And that's why I changed the lighting schedule to mostly blue. This tank has a quiet flow drain, so it's 1 return line and 1 drain / safety return, all built into a small unit, so it doesn't really take up much real estate. It's pretty narrow. The stand itself is really cool. It's a metal frame with these panels that are attached with magnets. So right now there's 5 panels, 2 in the side and 3 in the front, and they're really easy to get off and access a large area underneath. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove those and show you guys what's underneath the tank. So starting off with a sump, we have a custom one by Luna Reef, and it's made to fit perfectly underneath the cabinet here. It's a 3 chambers, so you have the drain coming into here, and I use filter floss that go into these buckets here, and they come over to the skimmer, which is an Ultra Reef UKS 200. That one's also made in Italy. And then I'm running some carbon in the reactor. If I need to bring the phosphates down, I usually put a bag of ROA in there as well. And there's a return. We're using the Sicce 7.0. Actually, almost all the pumps on the tank are by Sicce, which is an Italian company. Even the skimmer uses a Sicce pump, which is really great because they have an amazing warranty, by the way. And for our ATO reservoir, this is a custom one by Luna Reef as well. Holds about 15.5 gallons. And I don't go through that much in a week, but I have it there just in case I need to travel or I forget about it. So I don't really have to worry too much about it. It's got the Sicce pump for topping off. And everything is controlled by the GHL ProFlux 4. We also have the GHL doser. I've really enjoyed the ProFlux 4 controlling this tank. If you go onto their YouTube channel, they have instructions on how to set up the app. Once you're all set up, it's super easy to control and turn off pumps, turn off the skimmer, just have it run all sorts of things, including the auto top off, and I really like it. So you can see the controller board cabinet here. This is from Adaptive Reef over in Canada, and they did a phenomenal job. It's modular, so you can actually move stuff around, take these faceplates off and change it out. Right now I have the faceplates for kind of putting the return pump controllers and stuff like that, but I also have another faceplate to expand on the GHL products. So hopefully I'll dive into some more of the electronics in the future and put that other faceplate on. For flow, I'm using the Sicce STC Extremes. They move about 2,250 gallons per hour. They're really cool pumps. They're Wi-Fi controlled. You can use the Sicce app and actually link them and control them from there. What's really neat is there's a voice command system with the app, so you could turn the pumps on and off, set flow settings, and also ask it the temperature all by voice command. So I talked to the guys at Sicce, now I have a total of 4 of them, so I'll have those all set up once we add the acros to the tank. For fish, I don't have a lot in the tank. I do have a pair of clowns. These guys are supposed to be wild caught true perks. I think this one definitely is, but the male looks more like a false to me, but maybe you guys could chime in and let me know. There's also a few chromis that I really love these fish. I want to get more and have a big school of them in the tank. And this is the boss of the tank. He's an orange shoulder tang and he eats all day long. I probably feed him about a half a sheet of nori. And then I'll feed all the fish about 2 to 3 times a day so he gets some off of that and grazes off the rocks. There's a cryptic wrasse that's swimming around and I don't see him. He's usually hiding, but he comes out later. And that's really all I have for fish right now. Like I said, there's more on the way. So let's talk about corals. A few months back, I did have a tank crash. A Cuban tree frog got into the tank and they are toxic, and let's just say it wasn't a good experience, but with a lot of water changes and carbon, I got it back on track after a few months. I did lose some acros and a good portion of the corals that I had in the tank, but I didn't lose everything, so I wasn't starting from scratch. Recently, I just stocked the tank with a lot of frags, probably over 40. Most of them are LPS, and since everything's been doing really well, in a few weeks I'm gonna put in some acros from our 1500 display at Worldwide Corals. So one of my favorite pieces is this extra large Favia coral. It didn't really have a name to it, but it was about half this size, I would say, about 3 years ago. So I had it in my other tank and brought it over here as soon as I set this one up, and it's just been growing well ever since. And one of my favorites is this Maxima clam, and I've been able to grow this one out for over 3 years, and I really like clams. So I think, especially after watching some of the Reefs.com videos, I think I need to add more clams to the tank. What do you guys think? I have a few frags of Aussie Lords, or what we used to call Akins, over here, and I have some other clusters throughout the tank, and I just really like the colors on those. I really enjoy all types of corals, and I realize I don't really have a big enough tank, even though this is much bigger than the tank I had before. I just don't have enough room to put in all my favorites. So there's still some room left. We're gonna put in some acros, but the space is getting kind of limited. The rocks from the aquascape are from Marco Rocks. We used a lot of the shelf rock and some of the Reef Saver, and I really like the look. I've never used shelf rock before, but once I saw it, it gives you a lot of room to put corals on. Here we have a Space Invader Pictinia, and I got this one from Bobby. So a lot of the people at Worldwide Corals have donated corals to me. So thank you to Bobby, Claudio, Frank, and everyone who's done that. Really appreciate it. This guy, as you can see, he's up high because he's mean. He will sting and he will probably beat anything, so I gotta keep him away. I got some different varieties of hammer coral on this side where the flow is a little bit less. Since I just turned the lights on not too long ago, they're kind of not as open, but once they get opened up, they're really big. Down here is an area I have with some of my mushrooms, and then there's a fox coral in the back there that I'm probably gonna move because I think he needs some more light. It's being kind of shaded in. Just some various chalice corals, and I love chalice corals. There's so many really cool color patterns, and I really love it when they grow out. So I'm definitely gonna squeeze some more chalice corals in when I can. I do have a few acros in the tank and some zoanthids, so I definitely need to get some more. This green slimer is really neat. He survived the tank crash. He's probably the hardiest SPS that I know of, and it's been really cool to watch and see how big he gets. So I can't wait for another year to watch him grow out. I have a couple scullies and a couple torch corals over here, but of course, like all of us, we wish we could have more of those, right? This corner over here, I have a group of Favia coral and a Bauerbankia in the back. This is a really bright orange fungia that I've had for a really long time. And this is a slimeball Montipora colony that I grew out from a tiny frag. They grow pretty fast, so make sure you guys give it a lot of room. And I've used the back of the aquascape to put some frags. Those would be really neat to look at when they grow out. Also, another one of my favorite corals is this forest fire digitata. Now, I had gotten it from Sean Zink over at the Winter Park store. I told him I was looking for this coral, and this is something that he had grown out, and he gifted it to me. And it was one of our last conversations because he recently passed away. So I hope that I could grow it out and give frags to other people as well. So that's the majority of the corals that I have in the tank, and there has been challenges besides that tank crash that I mentioned. I do have bubble algae. We got some emerald crabs in there attacking it, but they haven't gotten all of the bubble algae, so I'll have to go in there and manually remove some. I had Aiptasia from my previous tank that I didn't see, so when I moved some stuff over, there was Aiptasia everywhere, but added some peppermint shrimp, and surprisingly, I put about 4 of them in there, and they took care of it all right away. Now, if only the emerald crabs would do their job a little faster. So that's it. That's everything with this aquarium that I want to show you guys. A huge thank you again to Richard and the folks at reefs.com. I really had a great time sharing this aquarium with you. Again, the corals are still small, they're frags, and they're growing. So hopefully we can give you guys an update in the future. Have a great day. Thanks.